So do you mind me recording this?
That's fine. Go ahead.
Excellent. So
why are you recording this? What is it?
It's a long time. This is a crazy idea. As we are being locked up in this, in this funny reality that we are living now. Seems that is a parallel world. All of a sudden, someone opened a door and we're like, okay, what's in there? Let's go and explore. So I decided to talk to other people. I decided to talk to guys related with Krav Maga, guys in Israel and the US and Germany and Holland yesterday. And I thought, okay, let's talk to people that has been part of the Institute of Krav Maga. We had contact with so many years.
Yeah.
People that are still training with us. Some others went away.
Sorry, my phone is talking.
That's okay.
That's Siri.
And
that's a good idea. It is a strange time for sure.
Yeah, and the idea is use the time, and I offered some people different point of view. Sometimes, from different countries, people are seeing things completely different. Some others haven't been affected as much, and some others are, really deep trouble. And then you talk about different things. I mean, you have lots of, look at your background there. I'm just looking at the kid and thinking, geez, man, it's a lot. So tell us about your story. Tell us about, the time you turned Krav Maga and how was the experience. And then eventually I want to talk about the photography, because you've been, is that a place on the planet that you haven't been yet to taking pictures? So, that alone.
Actually, you can see, this is one of my pictures in the back. The penguins over there. The penguins is one of my shots there.
Some of them are phenomenal, and I keep joking all the time, saying, relating your pictures with the place where I live here. So we have so much beauty around this area; it's unbelievable.
Yeah, we've been having this kind of joke about where you live compared to how does that compare to some of the places.
Exactly. It's amazing.
Yeah, I guess I don't have kids. I have enough nephews and nieces. So for me, what I do is I spend all my money on traveling and all my money on photography. I think you can also see there on my camera equipment, I guess, I do spend a lot of time. It's the only way I can basically de-stress. It's, because at work, I have 4 screens here, and, and it's just, and I'm sitting behind my desk, and all the time, when I can get away, that's, I just go somewhere as far as possible. Although I have a lot of beautiful area where I live now, it is kind of my escape, if you want.
Wow, because you're living in Switzerland, which is very similar to Harlow, where I live.
Harlow, beautiful Harlow.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, so many resources around here.
Harlow, where the sun always shines.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it does. Yeah. So
I moved to Switzerland for various reasons. Is one. I'm French, so and obviously this whole Brexit thing just came and really, hit me really hard personally, because my business died basically for a whole year.
Wow.
And then also when I saw how this was evolving, one, no business, and then 2, the lack of decision where my business is going to be, and so I was impacted immediately, because when there's uncertainty, the first thing that happens is you stop recruitment.
Yeah.
You stop first, and then you start firing. So that's what really happened. Recruitment was really hit immediately. And then out of that, then what happened related to EU nationals, where we live, this and that, the other. I just thought, you know what, screw you guys. I don't want anyone telling me what to do, where to be, and so on and so forth. So I was working with private equity, German and Swiss private equity, and I have a big client here, which is ABB. And I was doing a lot of business with them. I thought, you know what? If there's a place I could be, it's here. I didn't want to go to France which had been the logical step.
Right.
It's one, the gilets jaunes, taxes, all that kind of stuff, and they're always on strike. Plus, I haven't lived in France for more than 20 years. I've actually spent most of my time in London, most of my life in London.
I was about to ask, how long did you live actually here? It's been
about 25 years.
25 years in London.
Yeah, approximately, or something like that. So,
wow.
So it was hard to make that decision, really. It was,
wow.
But also the other thing is I lived in Notting Hill in London, and all I had at one time, I had 12 houses being redone around me. So all I could hear was jackhammers. I could have learned Polish. All the brothers around me. So I just thought, if there's one place for me to move, I had gone out Berlin, same construction sites all the time. but it's also a lot of technology. And I didn't want to go to another city. So
Right.
here, and I didn't want to go to Zurich, and where I live is half an hour from Zurich,
And it's
45
just,
minutes from the airport.
it's instead of Zurich, which is a long name, it's just Zug. It's much,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
I don't know
Zug,
why. They
Rick.
have a lot of cities with Z in here in Switzerland. So Zug, Zurich, Zürichon, whatever. So yeah, so it's half an hour from Zurich, 45 minutes from the airport, direct train.
So in this particular place you live, what is the language that people speak there? Because there's a bit of a mess between German and French and Swiss and all this.
I could have made it easier for myself. I could have gone to the French-speaking part, but no, I decided to make it even more difficult. So I went to the German-speaking part.
German side of it. Yeah. Wow.
So although I studied German when I was a kid in France, it was mandatory to have 2 foreign languages. English was the first one, and then German was the second one. For me, but they speak Swiss German here, so it's.
That's what I'm saying. It's a variation of the thing. Wow.
It's a dialect. So, for example, in Germany, it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They go 1, 2, 3. That's so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
It's the Dutch and the Afrikaans. My wife speaks Afrikaans, and when you meet Dutch and Afrikaans, it's like completely different words.
And they pronounce the K is pronounced H. So comma, they go comma. So it's really strange. I don't like it. But anyway,
I've been trying to learn English for the last 20 years, and I did a terrible job with that. So imagine a German. I'll be the guy
in Swiss German.
Stand in the traffic light with a piece of paper and a board, going, give me food, because I cannot understand what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
Wow. But then this move to Switzerland. I mean, of course, it's a change in an environment, but I guess the environment was much nicer than central London, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you travel anywhere in a very short period of time. You can be miles away on a beauty spots down.
Yeah, I mean, France is about an hour and 20 minutes from here, an hour and 10 minutes from here. Germany about the same time. Austria about 1 hour also drive, and Italy.
Oh, we're talking about driving. No, even flying is driving. So you.
No, we're talking driving here, and then Italy is about, I would say, 2 hour drive.
So it times takes me to ride a motorcycle from here to London. You already cross the border.
I could be at the French border, or I could be Austrian border, or the German border. So for that, it's really cool, and obviously you get the mountains here. So obviously I love skiing, so that's also another reason. But what I didn't think of is the lakes. Actually, in the summer here, you can actually swim. The lakes are very clean, cold sometimes.
I can imagine that it's cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the place is beautiful. You got lakes, you got mountains, you got everything, just like Harlow. Yeah, pretty much.
Totally like Harlow. Yeah, except Harlow has beautiful girls, of course.
Yeah. Let's leave it like that. And tell me about the Krav Maga. I mean, you trained Krav Maga for a few years, didn't you? I mean, my timeline is messed up. I remember events, but I don't know dates, anything like that.
Yeah, I did 5 years of Krav.
5 years. Wow.
I think I was with Matt. We were there was maybe a group of maybe 10 people right at the beginning when you started.
Yeah.
And we were some of the few in Notting Hill.
I was about to say, you guys started back there when we used to have the club
in that church. Do you remember?
Yes.
It was actually a church, but also an alcoholic center.
I was about to say, the Alcoholics Anonymous on one side, the gamblers on the other, and us training Krav Maga right in the middle.
Exactly. I remember when one guy showed up, he said, "I need help," and we went, "Well, this is not that kind of help.
We can teach you some 360s, but it might not be the case." Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think he was gone. He was completely
Wow. we had some interesting stories of that place. That was the beginning. That was back in 2004, I think it was, wasn't it?
Or something like that. I remember. I think that it was the first lesson that I went. I didn't have a groin guard, and this girl just nailed me right in.
Ouch! Yeah.
And without a groin guard. And I went the next day and I bought myself a groin guard.
Yep.
She said, no, I'm not gonna hit you, and I'm not gonna hit you. She went bam.
Sure. Yeah, live with me. I trust me. Bang. Wow, that was a long time ago. Wow. So you managed to get to G1, G2?
I went to the G1 and then the G1, and then they failed us all on the G2 training.
Oh, it was Amnon, wasn't it?
It was Amnon. Yeah, he thought we were not aggressive enough. Although we were kidding, we were hitting the shit out of each other
I
But
remember.
he thought that all of us were just not aggressive enough.
It was a Battersea. It was at that leisure center Battersea. It was at
Yeah.
because we had that thing with the volcano in Iceland, I think it was, or something.
Yeah, I think that was somewhere around there. But yeah,
Yeah,
it was tough. I mean, you know, I mean, I love the training. I loved every bit of it. But yeah, it was as we were going into the training, it was harder and harder to get a grading. And I think they just wanted to get into, you know, just they just wanted almost to kill each other. But
trying to
I'm not
kill
sure you
people.
can really do that in Europe. I can get it in Israel, but
Yeah, no, it's very different because we had lots of issues with that kind of attitude. The fact that the guys who come from Israel, okay, you're the guy over there, but over here, you know, you don't have a class, you don't have a club over there, so you don't know how to deal with people. And the way they
yeah,
behave is completely different over there. So to apply exactly the same mentality,
yeah.
it was kind of a tricky. Yeah, we had a,
Yeah, I remember the rules, for example, there was like a machine gun takedown.
oh yeah,
Which I remember, and I was like, it's okay, you know, we don't have that many machine guns in Europe.
yeah,
Or what was the other one? It was oh yeah, the hand grenade, you know,
yeah, that's
whatever.
takedowns of the Cavaliers or those
Yeah.
and taking the guy down.
And I was
Yeah,
like, you know what? I don't know when I'm gonna ever be practicing. I know that I really want to, but that's something we will have. That was part of that's what these guys wanted us to do. We're like, okay, we'll do it, but
it's a tricky one. Yeah, it's different how people respond. It's a different, the whole syllabus, when you look at it, the whole Israelis develop this thing is based on their reality. But for
of course.
sometimes in places like here, you know, in Switzerland, if you talk about disarm against a hand grenade or machine gun, they might look at you like, why would you do that? Because we don't have
Actually,
such.
you know, the country that has the most guns after the US is here.
It's yeah. But what I mean, you don't hear the news that anyone went out on the street and decided to
No,
shoot people
or
there.
you anywhere in Europe.
Perhaps the brain comes attached with the machine gun there, and well, in the other places, it's not the case, isn't it?
No,
I
it's
don't know.
only I think maybe in Israel definitely. I mean, I can understand why they need that, but here, no way.
You never heard an Israeli going on a rampage killing people, his own people with a machine gun, just to prove that what, you know, it's a strange,
Yeah, it's a strange thing. So, do they still have that, by the way? Those machine gun takedown in the G1, G2 training?
Oh yeah, that's part of it, yes. And that's when it becomes a little bit more military, law enforcement scenario kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. So, how many people do you have now in G1, G2, or G4 grades?
Well, post-corona, we don't have many because people just took off and disappeared. So, you know, lots of people living outside London and working in London. So, of course, they used to come very early in the morning. You know the story, commuting for an hour and a half to come to London,
Yeah.
work all day, and then eventually train in the evening, and then eventually journey back home again.
Yeah.
But now, you know, all the businesses were closed in central London, so people don't have to come to London anymore. So therefore, even if we offer free classes, they wouldn't come to train because there's no need
well,
to.
they can't legally. I mean, they've just opened here. They've just opened all the gyms here. Last week.
The opening the gyms is something that we are really looking forward to, but at the same time, it's like, you know, why and how this thing's going to happen. It's a kind of a tricky one. We need to see as we get there, and then eventually establish some kind of a new way of doing this. I see this pretty much going away the same way it came, you know, because if you go to central London now, I've got videos of people walking around like filming the parks. Everybody's out there. The parks are full of people. Nobody's wearing any masks or gloves or anything like that. Everybody close to one another, dancing, partying, as if like, you know, it's Notting Hill Carnival again.
I can tell that's exactly what's happened here. I mean, I was driving I was cycling on Friday, on Sunday rather, and you know, I went to a place. The cafes were all packed because everything's open here. Restaurants, cafes, and all that. And no, very few people wear masks. Although the infection level is almost non-existent anymore.
Yeah,
but people just went, and it's just gone back to normal as if nothing happened.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of strange. Really.
Yeah. The only side effect of this would be the economical effect, the after.
Yeah.
Picking up the pieces and finding out how we're going to push this.
Who's going to survive? Yeah, and I think the gym is going to be a tough one. So I am actually going to have a personal trainer. He's a CrossFit guy. So he's had his own gym and there's very few people. And what he's done is for each gym, each section, he's basically created like a 4-meter square.
Right.
And he put all the equipment for that person. So, but he can do that in a small gym. I don't see that happening really.
No, the point is you can do that, but then the changing rooms, everybody's going to be close to one another. So what's the point? So, you know, it's like the fine restaurant when in front everybody's wearing gloves and on the back the chef is sweaty and
So I'm not going to go to my regular gym for now until things, but I'll go to his gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for crowd, I can see the impact. It's a physical sport, therefore you need to be one-on-one.
Yes, and even if the
virtual fights,
the gyms will open and allow the fitness class when they have markers on the floor, that's okay for the gyms. They can do that. But for us, it's like what? You're gonna have people standing half a meter away from one another. I pretend to throw a punch, you pretend you block and counterattack, and so it's I don't know. Let's see what happens there. But it's of course that allowed us to develop all the skills that we didn't have. Skills that we very necessary to our job, which actually stand in front of a camera and talking to a camera now. So I've been teaching classes in the evenings here at my home. We move everything out of the living room. We set it up a little studio there. And my kid is actually helping me. Good enough that he's big boy now, taller than me almost. And then he's my attacker, and I beat him a little bit. So make sure that he understands who's the father and who's the leader. And but it's good so far, so good. Some members are still, they kept the membership and they're still supporting us there. But more than half they disappeared for many reasons. So let's hope we can bring everybody back as soon as things go back to normal.
I think people are tired of this. I mean, for me, this is the first time I've actually hired a candidate who has started today.
Really?
He started today. He's never met anybody face to face. He's never met.
What is that? Can you explain me exactly your line of work? I mean, apart from the photography we're going to be talking in a minute, but the other side.
So I'm a recruiter. So I specialize in technology. I only hire people, mostly sales and management positions for small organizations. I don't like to work with big guys. So mostly startups or middle companies who are growing. So in this case, I was actually hiring a sales guy in the UK. And they needed to replace somebody. So I find 5 or 6 candidates all virtually. I interviewed them like this way, and then my client did the same thing. So they interviewed the candidates, and then what the candidate had to do, he had to do a presentation. They, in their case, put 5 or 6 people from the company, all logging in online, and the candidate had to do his presentation, and he had to submit all his stuff, and it was 1 hour. They actually had to play even role play, because he had to do a presentation of something that he knew, and he had to role play. So the company was role playing. One was the aggressive guy. One was asking tough questions. Wow. And they were seeing his responses. So and at the end there was only 2 candidates, my candidate and another guy, and my candidate did a better job, and he got a job.
Phenomenal.
So it's the first time though, and he started today, and he said to me 2 days ago, he said, I have never been in this situation like this where I'm actually physically started in a company. They shipped him a computer, but he's never actually met anyone face to face.
How crazy is that, eh? And if you'd have thought that, 6 months ago, you would have said to the guy, look, in the future, you're going to get a job via a computer. It's like, come on.
Exactly.
Talking to people online. It's like, no, this is ridiculous. Never going to happen.
Yeah, maybe the guy's crippled. Maybe, who knows?
It's only his head. Yeah, there's nothing else in the
exactly.
It's a machine. Yeah. Well, we're getting closer to many things. I mean, all this artificial intelligence stuff, and people traveling to International Space Station the other day. A couple of days ago, those guys managed to get there.
That's really cool.
And and they were talking about going to the moon in 2025. And you think, what? They're going to set a base on the moon? And now they're like,
it will happen.
It will happen.
I'm a big sci-fi fan, and I think that's next.
That'll be fun. I just want to start teaching Krav Maga on the moon. It would be amazing. Can you imagine? All right,
planet. Hit somebody.
Planet Earth.
Reaction, that person flies away.
Yeah, I'll come flying from there with both feet up in the air, hit you in the chest, and see how far would you go. Action reaction.
That would be an interesting one.
But okay, so and of course your job allows you to sit anywhere in the world as long as you have Wi-Fi and work.
For me, yes. I mean, I can literally, and in some ways that's what photography works. Sometimes it can be challenging when you're in the middle of nowhere. And then you depend on connection. But I can be literally anywhere in the world and connect and then try to do business wherever I am. I think the craziest one is actually negotiated a salary for a candidate, and I was in Antarctica. It was costing me $200 an hour, but in that case, it was worth it. So logging on from my room in this ship, I was right in the Antarctic Peninsula. The candidate was in Richmond, Virginia, and the client was in Berlin. And I helped negotiate salaries, sent emails, and he accepted on the 31st of
Wow.
December.
Well, 31st of December.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah. So I celebrated that evening, and the next day I had a worse hangover to land.
I can imagine. It wasn't for the lack of ice and have to put on your whiskey there, because I guess
that was a lot of ice.
Put the glass outside, then bring it back. That's it, frozen.
Actually, we do that. Did you know that? We go on Zodiacs, and they pick up a piece of ice from an iceberg, and then we use it for whiskey. That's
to make any Scotsman very proud. Wow.
It is very good.
I can imagine that. But tell me about the photography, because you started this thing while you're still here in the UK, was it?
Yeah, I started. I think right after almost when my passion with crab was diminishing, and also my feet were starting to hurt.
Oh yeah, I remember you had a problem with your toes. You had to have surgeries and all that. And you took a break.
We used to do foot stomping on toes.
Yeah.
Nothing that didn't help.
No.
Because my toes. I remember that's when it started, and somebody hit and it really hit me. Maybe it started somewhere at that time.
Yeah.
And as it escalated until I basically needed an operation on both toes.
Wow.
So yeah. Anyway, so I couldn't continue crab because of work, and also was traveling too much. And photography took over, and I spent a fortune on photography. I have equipment right left and center.
You know what I say, but those cameras you're showing us on the pictures, if you had to buy them by kilo, it will cost a fortune. And by kilo, never mind 10 grand one lens and another 10 grand the body and another whatever. It's
tell me, traveling it's actually one of the biggest problem with photographers is when you travel, you're not going to put your camera equipment on this stuff. So you have to carry it. So I fought all the time with airlines, and then at the end, in some situations, when I'm doing a big trip, and I'm taking all my equipment to have no argument. The only way is you have to buy business class tickets. That way, they don't argue. They don't argue about it because I might have 30 kilos in my hands.
Really?
Which I put as hand luggage, of course.
Yeah, you come dragging a suitcase. What is that? How heavy is that? 5.
Oh yeah, no, it's nothing. So you just carry the thing. But as soon as if they ask you to put it in there, and you can't do that in economy because they have to ask you to weigh everything. So
wow.
For the sake of argument, I've fought in a few airlines where I put stuff in my pockets and everything so that I can go through.
And you started this here in London, because I've asked you the other day. I don't know, a few months back. It feels like the other day. About photography, because everybody buys cameras and stuff, but you're always taking pictures in the automatics. You never know exactly what to do with it. All the settings, all the amazing stuff you can come up with, but it's a kind of a tricky one. You decided to do this here in London. You started.
Yeah, I mean, I started first. I started with the cheapest camera, and I started to play with, and I think the two things is I wanted to learn more, so I went to the Nikon classes,
right.
In London, and because I wanted to understand some of the settings because you can go online, of course, there's YouTube videos and all that, but I think you can't do that.
I'm useless with online training. I mean, I can watch and watch and watch and watch, but then, okay, you do the settings, but it's not exactly, the video does not reflect to your camera because now there's something different because it's a new model. And then you go outside, take a picture, come back, but then what? If you don't have a guy to say, hey, no, look at this, look at that, there's this, there's that. So,
I went exactly through that phase, and it was really hard. It was just hard to understand. So I thought, you know what? I'll take some lessons with a physical guy so that he can tell me what I'm doing right or wrong. And then there was also the people in there. So it was maybe a group 5 or 6. Actually, the guy I took with Michael Stafford, who actually now is quite a famous photographer. He's won quite a few things at Wildlife Photographer of the Year.
Oh, okay.
So it was really worth the money. And out of that, I learned some stuff, and I tried and took my mistakes. And I think what really made the big transition is I started taking the book. When I booked a trip, it was a photo trip. So I went with the photographers, Nikon photographers, always, because that's what I am.
Okay.
And so that they could tell me what to do, how to do it. And I really made really silly mistakes, and the guy would correct you. And out of that, I've learned. I've learned.
And how much of that is, you take a picture, but then there's a whole thing about the RAW, the formatting and all this kind of stuff. And then you go back home and of course you need to add this to a computer and then do the final touch. And then you can make a picture that wasn't very good then when you took it, looked like something amazing because you can play with the colors. Is that right?
Yes, yes. So you
But
take a
how do the
picture.
people see that? Because I mean, we rather take the black and white back in the day and have the, you know, the 50 mil.
Yeah,
That's the one you want to adjust. If you want a bigger step back or come closer, that was pretty much it. Now you can play with miles away. You can take a picture of a footballer standing in a balcony in somewhere else's bedroom. It shouldn't be there, but you know, a mile away, and all of a sudden, boom, next day's in the newspaper, so and so, you know, doing it again.
yeah,
But then you look at the lenses, they're like, you know, 800,
yeah,
900 millimeters is massive
yeah.
stuff.
The 800 millimeter. And this is a here. Actually, you have one here.
Oh, you've got the whole thing there. My
This
gosh.
is a this is a 2 to 500 millimeter.
It's a Canon. Wow.
Not yeah, it's almost. You can use that for crowd, you know.
Wow.
Get this off. I mean, this is a so that's it's about a kilo.
My gosh.
So that's a 2 to 500. I've done some pretty decent shots. I can get this out of the way. I don't know why. So this is great for wildlife photography.
Wow.
So that plus the body, we're talking maybe 4 kilos to carry in your hand.
4 kilos. So that's strapped to your neck after a few hours.
Well, your neck really hurts. I've had actually the heaviest I've had was almost 8 kilos. I was on the Zodiac in Svalbard up north in the Arctic, trying to take a picture of a polar bear, and it was really choppy water. So I was shooting the sky, getting the sky, getting the sea, getting the sky, getting no picture of the polar bear.
So the polar bear was there somewhere. Yeah.
So yes, you take a picture in raw format, so that which basically allows you to the raw format is the native of the camera.
Right.
And then with that, you can actually go afterwards in Lightroom. I know my first thing is take all the pictures, put them in Lightroom, which gives me a catalog of all the pictures by date, which then helps me afterwards. And then I'd select the one I like, for example, put a rating if I was that organized. And then the one that I really like, then I start working on them. Change out the lighting if it's too much light, or make it lighter or darker.
Wow.
Change afterwards, you know, whatever I need to. Then if I want to crop, so if you take, as you mentioned, a picture for long, which is far, far away, but you only are interested in a section of that, then you just crop it. And then out of that, you can actually do a lot of things afterwards. Either send it Photoshop to change the color, to change the settings, whatever you can do.
And what's your style? You take lots of pictures and then eventually you choose one that you think is the best, or you just wait until that best one and try to save memory cards?
I think at the beginning, I was taking everything that moved. At the beginning, I was just shooting whatever my finger, and then they'd come back and you'd have 15,000 pictures from a trip. And you go, oh shit, how am I going to clear all this?
And then at least half of them look exactly the same, which are good anyway.
Yeah, some of them might be exactly, yeah, you can have 20 of the same. And, but in wildlife photography, actually, you have to shoot as much as possible. So it depends. For landscape, you can be more, and afterwards, over time, what I'm doing now is I'm more selective. So, you know, I would go and shoot, if I can, maybe 5 or 6 of one bird, or just a section of some animals, or in landscape is I would take maybe 5 or 6 of one landscape, try to get one shot. So yes, to shoot 15,000, I mean, the cameras can take a lot of cards, and I have a lot of memory cards, and but it is, the problem is afterwards, as you start to deal. You have to deal with all
you need to take a holiday from the holiday in order to work with those pictures and process the whole thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes the first take me, I think the longest I've done was almost 30,000 pictures. It took me months to review them. It just took me forever. And you could just, you have an idea in your mind which one that you like, and then you go straight, you zoom at them initially, and I think you just take. And then some of them actually, I was in Japan, for example, I've done maybe, I would say, I've reviewed all the pictures, but I haven't really cleared all the ones. So it would take me maybe another year just to go back. But I'd come back and go back and forth to work on the pictures.
Wow, and from all the places you travel, which one do you think is the one that you're like, wow, okay, this is the one. This is the most interesting, beautiful one from all of them? That one.
Antarctica.
Wow.
And Antarctica is something special. I mean, it's just because it's so remote, and it's, you know, it's all white, but there's so much beauty in there, and obviously the wildlife is really, really incredible. So that's really my number one. And recently, the Grand Canyon. I went rafting for 18 days in Grand Canyon. It was a photo trip. with other photographers. I was camping every night. I had blisters on all my fingers because of the sand, the water and the sand. But it was, and the best part of it, there was no internet. There was no mobile phone.
You're inside the hole in there. Of course, there's nothing,
Yeah, it's it's very deep. I mean, it's 1 mile up
Wow.
inside the canyon. So there was no Brexit, no Trump, no nothing.
Beautiful.
So we came back out of this, and it was like, oh wow! So we got. I think I had 800 emails to deal with.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Well, what happened to you? It disappears. Like, yeah, exactly. I was.
And I'll do it again. It was just to be able to actually completely disconnect, go off grid. Was an amazing experience.
I can imagine. And how do you plan this? I mean, do you of course you must have a group of people that go, all right, next time you're going to go this way, or next time you're going to go the other way, and then it's a matter of planning.
Good question. Sometimes I plan a year in advance. I mean, because of this coronavirus, for example, I mean, I have 2 friends I travel with, a couple in Australia,
right.
And we've been talking about this for the last 3 years, and 3-4 years, and it took me 2 years to plan it, to find a photographer to help us in Peru. So we were doing Atacama in Chile, and then from there, from Atacama to Bolivia to do the Salar de Uyuni, the salt plains. And so we were going in there in March in salt plains because this is when it rains and you get a reflection, complete reflection, and also it's very clear skies to shoot the Milky Way. And so all of that, 2 years in the planning to find a photographer, to book a hotel, this and that, the other.
And then nothing happened.
Coronavirus came, and that's it.
So, all right, at least the place is going to be there for a few more years.
The place will be there. So we book it, we wait for another year.
Yeah.
But now, today, I just got my money back from my Airbnb. I booked an Airbnb with my US family to fly in France. We booked a big place. And obviously they can't fly, so
it's a tricky one.
Just today, Airbnb allowed all the people up until 15th of July to cancel. So just today they did it, and I got a cancellation.
Wow, that's
good. They're going to reimburse me.
Well, that's good. At least you can invest that money in another adventure.
Yes.
You can come to Halo, take pictures around here. It would be amazing.
And take all the pictures. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I never thought. We have those penguins there too. You know what I mean? Yeah, they all love the
penguins and beach whales and
yeah, especially there.
Land beach whales.
Wow, that's amazing. And from all those pictures, I mean, you must have some fantastic pictures that you can easily put together and create a book. Which I guess, if you haven't thought about that one, it's
yes. I mean, I'm planning a book, or people hopefully would be able to buy some of my pictures. I've actually started getting some people interested in my pictures to actually buy them. So that's that. I mean, I would like to one day if somebody could buy my pictures to recover some of the cost of the travel and or the equipment. I mean, the equipment is not cheap.
Yeah. And the stuff you buy everything, or can you hire this kind of expensive equipment?
I do hire. I mean, when I went on this trip, for example, I wanted a lens. That lens cost $15,000 to buy. Just that lens, not even the body. It's just, and there's no way I'm going to put 15 grand on a lens that I might use once in a while. So what I do is there's a company in London it's called Lens for Hire, and you can actually rent the lens for. And I've rented a few stuff from them. So that way, and as soon as it's finished, I just give it back to them.
That's it. Thank you very much.
1,000 pounds, for example.
Compared to
putting 15 grand.
Yeah, it's a considerable investment, and you need to find someone to help you carry all this equipment because what about your luggage? Is this the small little bag like this? And what about the 5 other suitcases? Oh, that's a camera, the body, the batteries, the memory cards.
I carry everything, and now the problem is, you have to, the batteries actually is a big issue now because you can't put them in the luggage. One year I was going to northern Norway, and I forgot this, and I put the batteries. They removed them. They opened my bag, took the batteries off. Luckily, I had 3 batteries with me. And I kept on recharging all the time.
Wow! Oh, they took it away. Never said anything.
No, I had to. When I came back, I could pick them up.
Okay.
But yeah, and then each battery costs about 54 pounds.
Yeah, it's not cheap, isn't it?
Yeah, In the
Wow.
Grand Canyon, I had to take with me 20 batteries because no charging. There's no everything you have to take. I had to carry this with me by hand. So
Wow. Wow.
so yeah, today's traveling is not easy with all the
Do you actually use any of that solar panel sort of stuff to charge batteries?
I did not bring, but I think next time I will.
Okay.
It can recharge, but not much. So you still need at least in case whatever happens, you're ready to charge
Yeah,
and all
I
that.
guess it depends where you're going. If you're going to a desert or somewhere where it's sunny, throughout the day, then maybe you can leave your stuff there charged when you go out taking pictures.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
But
it
the
will
Grand
become,
Canyon in some areas, because it's so deep,
yeah,
there's no sun.
you're in the dark there. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a cool place. I highly recommend anybody to go to the Grand Canyon. And I want to go back. I'm hoping to go next year if in April there's hopefully there's a vaccine.
Well, I hope so, but I hope that people got some antibodies or whatever they call it for this thing and got some strength, because again the numbers are very fiddly. They don't tell us that people dying at a certain age. Yes, there are some younger people there, but then younger people die anyway. So from different complications,
Sure.
babies were born and have heart attacks, which you think like, why would a baby have a heart attack? But it's an interesting place where you live in, and
I mean, the average people who died in Switzerland are 82 years old.
yeah, it's.
I mean, and frankly,
The guy's got all sorts of diseases known to mankind, and all of a sudden they catch this thing, which is there are different levels of this virus. Some of them recover very quickly, and some of them, very difficult. They don't go there with that.
So business-wise for you, so you've been only mostly working through online, or?
But here, yeah, we've been doing the teaching from Monday to Friday online.
Yeah.
And
how many of have you had the retention?
We had about 300 people. We lost half of it in the very first month. Boom. And then we lost another 50 or something after our excellent leader stood on TV and said that we might go and play. Gyms will open in August, maybe September. So then everybody went like, oh my God, August, September. We're talking about, May.
Yeah.
So, and then they just decided to cancel. Some others ended up losing their jobs or have to ask to, stay at home. But it's kind of a tricky, because if we had something to say, right, we're going to spend X amount of weeks at home and then eventually everything is going to go back to normal, then you can start planning your life. But people just sat at home eating themselves to death and fighting for toilet paper, which was nobody actually needed at the end of the day that much. And then, that's it. So I painted the fences around my house here, which is good. First time in 8 years. I never touched anything. I did some gardening. We planted tomatoes in the back garden. I've got garlic. Yeah, see, I became a bit of a caveman now. But that was not just me.
I think people either they ate themselves to death. They ate pasta and pizzas or whatever.
Oh, yes.
Or instead, luckily here the lockdown wasn't as bad, so we could still go out. And so what I did is I just went crazy sports-wise. I was jogging, cycling, whatever, just to get away. I mean, the whole situation was depressing. And, I think when you see the numbers, Italy is obviously right close from here. So the number of deaths south of Switzerland was pretty bad.
Well, if you look at the proportion in numbers of people leaving the country and the number of dead people is kind of a tricky.
Yeah.
But now it seems that it left Europe is on the other side, in the U.S. and in Brazil as well. Brazil is having a lot of issues with that too now. And usually, but it's the same story.
Bolsonaro.
Don't do it. They will do it. And everybody's trying to take this guy out because he's trying to fix some, many issues of many years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a trick. And the news especially, man, those guys are bombarding all sorts of bits of information regarding anything. It doesn't matter if it's true. Well, what is it saying that goes, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. So that's pretty much what's happening there. Anything goes. But yeah, it's a funny stuff there. But let's hope we can, go back to some kind of normality and be able to travel again, because I guess that will be amazing for some people. I mean, I'm planning. I've got a tent set in my garden here. So I got a tent today. I set it up there. So I'm going to sleep there tonight. So pretend I'm camping.
I did the same thing. I actually bought a tent and a sleeping bag, because that's what I'm going to do as well. And hopefully the borders will be open here on the 15th of June. So I'll be able to go to France. But the travel to get on a plane, this whole situation, I don't know.
No, wait, look, my wife is, because she booked on holiday, I had a plan for this year. last year, I cycled from the bottom of the Anglia
I've
to the
seen, I
north of
followed you.
Scotland.
I followed
And that
you.
was like 2,000 kilometers. It was funny. And that was a preparation trip. That was me trying to find out if I could perform that without having a heart attack and dying halfway through. But the plan now is to cycle from Harlow, see, Harlow again, all the way to Tel Aviv.
Yes, yes.
So going down this called the Via Francigena, which goes, from Canterbury all the way to Rome, and then eventually Naples, and then in Naples I'm going to cut across to Athens and then fly to Israel.
Right.
So that was a plan to start in about 6 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks time.
Of course, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So I've been preparing, my bicycle, my kit, my equipment, and until now I was like, maybe I can still do it. But we look at tickets to go from here to Naples in August, and EasyJet, it's sold out. There's nothing available. I mean, people are thinking far ahead, like, they are just hoping for the best, hoping we can actually get on a plane and fly there.
Yeah.
So as I said, with all this opening of the lockdown and allowing people to go out and socialize again, might go two different directions. One is that, okay, there's no monster behind a curtain, go out there and enjoy life, back to normal. Or the other one is like, no, we hit the wall, back to lockdown again, which is going to be really, really bad.
Yeah, that's a big threat. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know how if the virus changes, whatever. I just wish we could go back to this. I just wish this situation never happened. Just
Exactly.
scrap this all this time and go back to our normal life.
Well, and let's start learning Chinese now, because the way things are going, we know who's going to be in charge very soon, huh?
Well, I just hope they don't come up with another shit, shit illness will just really screw us up completely. But yeah, I mean, well, let's see. I mean, I hope we'll come up with a vaccine soon, and then out of this we'll go back to our normal life. But I think what I'm fearing is that the economy, and I'm seeing that today, is companies were getting investment money from government, so they hire the people. There's just going to be a lot of people out there.
I'm not sure where the government is pulling all this money. I know who's going to pay for this later. It's going to be us, of course. The taxes are going to go up, and of course everything is going to increase.
Yeah.
It was nice to see. And one of the things here, example, I have a family member. My brother works for the NHS as a paramedic, and those guys have been working like crazy. And before this corona, everybody used to say, no, if they decided to stop doing the overtime, just work the normal hours, the NHS will disappear, will completely break.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. I mean, those guys have been working. He's working 100 hours a week, to give an idea.
Yeah.
And they all of a sudden it was like, I turned up to this job. I had 5 different ambulances there. Just 5 to 1. Yeah, one job. But how could, because now we have more people working than they expected. They brought all these people back and employ people from outside, and all of a sudden it wasn't as bad as they thought. So, okay, so it's not so
well.
At least good in a way.
At least the NHS worked compared to the government decisions. I mean,
yes. Yeah, it's.
It's shambolic, really.
And it worked like this. Some of the people lost their jobs and completely income, especially like I used to work with lots of personal trainers and guys working, teaching martial arts and stuff like that. Those guys couldn't get any money from the government. And some others like paramedics, NHS guys, they were working crazy, and some other key workers, they call it. Those guys are making money like mad because, now they had to stop training because they couldn't take a day off. They couldn't take an hour off of the day. They have to work and work and work. So, both sides of this kind of a coin, if you like, but it's entertaining. And then what is the story? I mean, once this thing is out, you're going to be traveling to which part of the planet?
Well, at first I need to come to London, just to see my dentist, get some dim sum. There's a lot of dim sum, and see my friends, see Matt and all the rest, and my family there. Then after that, I have a trip supposed to Antarctica, but I can't see that happening unless there is the vaccine.
Who do you contact to go to a place like that? Because that tiny boat that the icebreaker to get where you guys normally go is not for everybody, isn't it?
That was a bit. There's a company called Quark Expedition they specialize in the Arctic and Antarctic. That's all they do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's all they do.
That boat is a private boat or it's a military or Navy?
No. That actually boat that boat was a Russian icebreaker, which came from Vladivostok. So the company, the country in the world that has the most icebreakers is Russia. So they actually hired that boat that came from Vladivostok. the cleaning ladies had bigger arms than actually something.
Yeah.
Those Russian Ludmila, you know, they could have lifted a car if they wanted to.
Really? And they
So
come from
they were
all the
total,
way from the top
all
to
the
the
way from
bottom of the one.
eastern Russia all the way down to Vladivostok. So
Wow.
that's what they hired that one. It's not that the reason I went in because the last time they did it was 8 years ago. In the Arctic, they actually they also subcontract a boat, nuclear powered icebreaker called 50 Years of Victory, 50 Years of Russian Victory. And so this one they use up north to actually go and break the ice through the icebreaker. It was amazing. When that thing goes on it's got no keel, it just lifts up and smashes the ice to cut across.
The sound of it must be amazing. The sound of that thing cracking and the bangs.
Yeah, and the boat shifting because if you on a boat, you could feel the boat shifting every time there's a big piece of ice.
Wow.
And yeah, it just smashed the hell out of ice.
And the coldest temperature you actually reached there was what, -50 or something?
No. That's only during the winter. So the only time we go in December, which is the summer in the South Pole. During the winter, that no ship can go unless you are really heavy icebreaker. Even the icebreakers can't make it there.
Really? Wow.
So that in Antarctica, what happens is I think before the winter comes out, no ship, no plane can go. So they get all the supplies and then they're locked in basically until.
Wow.
Until
to think that Ernest Shackleton managed to survive a year in those.
I know, man, that was crazy.
Because one of the first things I did when I came to the UK was to go to Woolwich and visit the boats that they rolled across to the Elephant Island and all that with the crew.
Yeah.
And you think, man, look at the size of that boat. Because when I read the book and then eventually you see the drawings and stuff like that, but then you go actually and see the thing in there. It's phenomenal.
And we actually went in Elephant Island. We landed where they landed.
Really?
And where they were eating, they stayed almost a year eating penguins and elephants.
Yeah.
Man, it was tiny.
We know you could be Australian and South Africa, but barbecue every day for a year of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah, not good.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. It was the age of this. They called it the age of discovery. And it was really the age of discovery.
Yeah, but what those guys are made of? Imagine if that guy back that time, with the equipment we have today, if you put them together, the guys will be unbeatable.
They'll be in space doing mining the moon,
exactly.
mining the asteroids. And
exactly.
That's the next phase, I guess, where humanity, when we look at this Earth that we're polluting, maybe the next phase will be up there.
Wow.
That's what the age of discovery phase 2 is going to be out there.
Yeah. Well, let's see it. My final question.
Yeah.
Those 2 masks over your shoulder, your right shoulder, that's from Africa, isn't it?
Yes. So one actually, the ugly one I bought in Paris. I've had it for maybe 30 years or so, if not more. The other one I just bought a couple of years ago. That was in Kenya, I think. Kenya.
Yeah. Right.
So, but the reason I put it in there is every time I have Skype with my brother-in-law, my sister in the US. My brother-in-law used to make comments about it. I put it in there just on purpose.
What the hell do you have this thing there? I mean, it's horrible. No, I mentioned because we traveled to South Africa and there's a lot of different cultures and stuff, and this is very common there. I love the artwork and those guys do things by hand, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I think this is definitely Western Africa.
Right.
The other one is Eastern Africa. So I've had it for such a long time. I can't even.
The thing is, if every place you travel, you bring a little souvenir back, you're gonna have you're gonna need a bigger room there for sure to carry all this stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. And I go always buy little things. So here, I'll give you some examples. My last trip to Antarctica is this. I was in Japan and I got this.
You could have brought the real penguin back because I'm sure they got plenty over there. Yeah.
Yeah, no man, they shit everywhere.
I know. This was the first thing we visited in Cape Town. They have a little natural reserve area there, and we walk into this platform. And first thing my son said, "Oh, what is the smell?" I was like, "Man, it's the smell of the penguins. On the picture, they look amazing, and they're all beautiful the way they walk, but people don't know how smelly they are, and it's horrible."
Believe me, there's a place in South Georgia. They have 500,000 king penguins.
500,000.
When you arrive, before you're way out there, kilometers in the sea, you can smell. We call it penguin number 5, like Chanel number 5.
You know, at least you know you're going the right direction because I can smell them already. They are there.
Oh man, yeah, you know, when you're right out there and the waft of, because that, you know, this shit where they are basically, and
Yeah, yeah.
guano, and it builds up over the years. It stinks.
Well, let's say we see the beauty and everything they do, but they don't pretty much care much about that. But anyway.
Yeah, it is the penguin number 5, boy. That was
Penguin number 5. Fantastic. And look, listen, I'm not going to take you more of your time. You normally try to keep this around an hour long because at least when people want to watch this, it's not like, you know, those
guys
like 3.5 hours.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Time flies. Yeah, I told you. And we didn't even drink any alcohol.
It was really great catching up with you, man.
Yeah, and we didn't have any beer involved because if we had beer, we could go for longer. But let's keep this for the next time when you come this way here.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, my friend.
Let us know.
Good catching up.
Yep. Yeah. Let me know when you.
Let's get through this shit. Yeah. And we'll survive. We'll make it better.
Fantastic. Let's do that. Appreciate it.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks for your time. Talk to you soon. Bye.